Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gore Keeper podcast, movie thing, YouTube channel. It's a lot of stuff. Here we have Tyler,
Hi.
Mr. T, aka the Judge, on the Shooting
What
Star
up?
Press. Um, we're doing another episode of Tyler's first time. Finally,
First
COVID
one of
sucks.
2021, man.
Yes.
Oh man,
So
I'm excited. There are so many cool different directions we're gonna go with this series going forward. I mean, I can't wait to be doing this during Halloween because I know
Halloween.
you're gonna have. And like honestly, it doesn't even have to be the month of October. We can start in September, or because there's so many ones I bet that need to be shown. So,
Yes, tons. So yeah, well, I'm going to show you the movie
all right.
right now. I will tell you beforehand, it has a 98% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, good.
So hopefully you like it. This movie this week is The Loved Ones
Huh.
from 2009.
Wow.
That's the movie.
Okay.
Doesn't look like much, but it's
I've
a
never
fucking
I've
blast.
never heard of this movie. Do you have can I
A
see the
lot of people
poster
haven't.
again?
Yeah, I'll bring
You
it
have
up.
Yeah, let me see. I'm trying to think who's the actress?
I forget her name, but
I
she's an
feel like I've
Australian
seen her
actress.
I feel like I maybe have seen her in something. Is this like where is this set? Like in America or
Australia.
oh, okay. Looks like maybe a prom. Yeah, well, it says prom. Prom can be torture. The Loved Ones is 16. This is funny. The Loved Ones is 16 Candles meets the Chainsaw Massacre. Fun fact: I've seen neither.
I've never seen 16 Candles, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one we need to watch for
I've
this
Yeah,
series
yes, agreed.
one day.
So it sounds intriguing. So one of the things I like about something like this is I know nothing about it, so it hasn't been spoiled or
Oh, you're cutting
anything like
out.
that. Oh, can you hear me?
You're good now.
Am I good? I suppose we never
My
did a
internet
sound check.
here, I'll give a disclaimer. I'm at a hospital right now, so my internet is shit. I will let everybody know that, so I'm sorry about the quality. Next time we do one of these videos, it should be better. So just bear with us for this episode only. The quality may not be as good as it normally is, just because my internet is crap.
Right.
So,
Well,
disclaimer.
mine's not much better. I got like 6 people in this under this roof that are all using the Wi-Fi, and here I am trying to go live and record, and I've got an extra camera. Anyways, back to the movie. Um, it looks exciting. So, um, like I've said in the past, if it's something where I can physically envision myself being in this situation some way, somehow, and it's not like something mythical or a witch or an alien, like something that isn't real. Don't get me wrong. I do believe we're not, I'm a believer. I don't think we're alone. But I'm one of those people where I gotta see it to believe it, and something like this I could totally see happening. And judging by the drill in her hands. So what's the name of this
Yeah,
movie
what do
again?
you
I'm
think this
already
movie's
forgetting.
going to be about?
Um,
The
Prom Night
Loved
Gone
Ones.
Wrong. Okay, Prom Night Gone Wrong. Assuming there's been some infidelity. Is that the right word? In a relationship, maybe, and girl goes crazy and murders or defends people. I don't know, but just the sole fact of her having a power drill in her hands
Mm-hmm.
makes me hope that this is going to be one of those overly bloody, gory, weird, like unique but cool and also creepy murdering schemes, like, you know, using a chainsaw to like literally, and you see them just get cut in half, or weird things like a power drill. Um, I don't know. Like, I think this is gonna be a really gory movie, and I really, really have some good hopes for this, especially
Yeah.
since I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's extremely underappreciated. I've posted it up, like the picture, and asked if anyone's seen it on a lot of horror groups, and a lot of people go, no, but it looks interesting. It's like, I
Yeah.
don't know a lot of people who have seen this movie, but you look at ratings for it anywhere, and they're always high. Like, it's held in high regard. Like, people
Yeah.
who have seen it really like it. And it's not one of those so dumb it's bad. It's not, like, cheesy. It's just a gritty, down torture movie, and it's just fucking
Oh,
nuts. It's so
shit.
good.
Torture?
And,
I
yeah.
don't do torture well.
This is one I picked you specifically because you told me at one point. I think it
Oh,
was when we were doing the thing that, like,
no.
torture is something
I don't think
you
I
don't
can watch
know.
this alone. I think I'm gonna have to come over. I don't think I'll be able to watch this alone. I'm gonna be freaking out.
You know,
No,
down
actually,
in the cities.
yeah, that's right. You're in the cities.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to attempt to watch this with not only my brother, but also maybe my mom and a couple other people that are coming over.
There is one
And make
sex
like a
scene,
day
just,
out of it.
just so you're aware.
It's nothing.
So, and I don't know if you feel weird about watching sex stuff with your mom, but there is
I
one.
mean, I
it's
do,
very
but
short, but it's there.
she watches like the Orange Is the New Black, and then she's watching
Oh, okay.
some other like cage fighting show, which is weird and not family friendly, to say the
Right.
least.
All
But
right.
yeah, no, I'm excited. Yeah, he has gone frozen solid, and now it's just me in the room. So, hello everyone. I am Mr. T, aka the Judge, and I am going to be watching this movie for the first time ever. Now, if you're new to the channel, the series is called Tyler's First Time, and it's all going to be on the Gore Keepers YouTube channel. You can also find him over on Facebook.
All right. Wait. I got kicked out for a second.
I figured it was you because I was just rolling. Anyways, so Tyler's First Time is going to be me seeing movies for the very first time. 99.999% are all going to be horror movies. I don't think there's anything that's not going to be a horror movie. Even though The Thing kind of... Never mind.
The Thing is a horror movie. Come on. Sci-fi horror, but horror.
Sci-fi horror. But yeah, so the best part of this is I'm going to get to see all the movies I've always wanted to see.
And some underrated gems.
And underrated gems, which I'm pretty certain this one will be good. So yeah, I'm excited.
All right, I did switch to a different Wi-Fi network, so hopefully on the next part of the I'll do some editing around like the first chunk and try to get it somewhat cohesive.
Yeah, you look really great right now.
I look good now? Okay,
You're like super clear right now.
All right, awesome. So hopefully the second half of this video looks a lot better. Again, to the audience, I apologize for the quality of the first half of this video. Hopefully it gets better. I'm on a new Wi-Fi network now, so that's why I got kicked out for a second. But yeah, let's start the movie. Ooh, the loved ones.
Ooh.
I almost forgot that was our thing and we had to do it.
I did too. Until you did it, I was like, well, okay, I'll just join. But
we did it on the first two, so I'm like, we gotta keep it going.
We gotta keep it going. Oh my god.
Yeah. So, we just watched The Loved Ones.
Yes.
And it was
your
your first time.
My first time watching The Loved Ones. Holy smokes. So, for starters, I really, really like this one.
Yeah, it's really good.
And I think it's because it was really good, but it's also kind of an unexpected good movie that's not really known.
Yeah.
You're like what were you saying? Like a hidden
Hidden
treasure.
gem.
Yeah. So this movie I would consider such a hidden gem.
No one ever talks about this movie, and I don't know
I've never
why.
heard of it. No one in my household heard of this movie. I got one person to watch it with me, and I was enjoying it the whole way through, all the way till the end. And when I thought it was okay, we're over, we're out of the woods, we're out of the house, it wasn't over. And I really enjoyed that too, because I knew it was only like an hour and a half long, but once
And
it felt like it was
by too.
Oh, it flew by. And then like I said, when he breaks out of the house, I'm like, all right, so it's going to be winding up here pretty fast. But it didn't, and it went a little bit different of a direction, and overall I really still enjoyed it. Yeah. I'm losing my train of thought.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When he first escapes the first time, did you believe he was out and that was gonna be, or did you know he was going to get caught again?
So I knew pretty much right away. I was like, well, you're too far away from anything anyways. You don't know where to go. So you're SOL. And I kind of thought it was weird that he just stopped and hid under the vehicle. Like,
yeah,
I
his
was
mistake
like,
was moving in front of the vehicle when he was going backwards. It's like, no, just roll to the side and you would have been fine.
Yeah.
Like,
but
shit.
We can say all these things like you should have done this, should have done that, but
man, you gotta think of the
if
state
I was
of
in
mind
that
he was
situation, I'd probably fuck up somewhere.
Oh yeah,
I
wouldn't have made it out alive
right away. I wouldn't have made it past the first hammer with a knife in the foot scene. I would have, and I thought it was funny how, like, okay, you have your necklace and you're sawing through the rope, but you still have two knives hammered through your feet into the floorboards. What are you gonna do? Are you just gonna yank it out? Which he did. I would have never. Nope. And that's where I draw the line. Like, I thought at first he was just gonna hammer his feet and break them, but it was a little more gross by using the knife for sure. And I don't know. Are we going to be talking about what I thought the most cringeworthy scene is?
I
want you to guess out of anything. What do you think made me the most squeamish?
And I don't know if it's part of the torture, but I'm assuming you're talking about when Lola calls her dad the prince that's always been there, and they almost kiss, which is really weird.
I mean, I was half expecting that, but especially after when he gave her dress and kind of like awkwardly was looking, I figured there was something up. But no, it was not.
Okay.
You want one more guess?
Let's see. Was it the salt on the forked carved heart?
Oh, is that what it was? I wasn't quite sure. I thought it was like a powdered like laundry detergent, which I still think would hurt.
I think it was like salt or something that they were throwing on him.
That totally makes sense because I don't think. That and the other thing that was really difficult to understand at first was it seemed like it was set, before the 90s, judging by the types of cars people were driving.
Well, it's in Australia, so it's hard to tell when it's actually set.
Yeah, and so you're seeing all these vintage cars. I forgot it was at Australia at first. My mom, I actually watched this movie with my mom, and right away in the beginning... How did your mom
feel about it?
My mom's a harsh critic. She's like, it was dumb.
Really? How was it dumb?
She says that a lot. She says that a lot, though. She's like, it was dumb. But I think first there was equal cringe between us for certain scenes in this movie. But right away in the beginning when they're driving down the road, him and his dad, she's like, well, he's on the wrong side of the road. They're going to crash. I'm like, yeah, I forgot to mention this is set in Australia.
Yeah.
So she already kind of had that pre-guessed, and which sucked. But seeing that dude on the road was really weird, which for For some reason, I can still remember the name Timmy Valentine. Don't know
Yep,
why,
Timmy
but it's
Valentine.
stuck in my head. And I recalled back to it later on in the movie when she's flipping through her book. But no, the most cringeworthy scene had to do during the torture.
Okay.
So, it was, in fact, when the dad came over with a hammer and a nail.
Oh, the pee scene.
The peeing scene. I'm just
The
like,
countdown was kept you on the edge of your seats. Like, just go pee, man.
yeah, and I don't know what they shot in his neck with that needle, but
I
I'm
think
assuming
it was like some car fluid or something, is what I assumed was like, or some
Oh.
coolant or
Oh yeah, because
antifreeze or something.
didn't they open up? Yeah, she had a weird jug like that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure. So, like, I guess I never even thought about that. That's really screwed up. I
Yeah.
thought, like, they had their own, like, homemade mixed, like, I don't know, drug that
Yeah.
they were. But
For those of you who
man,
haven't seen this movie, he gets injected with some kind of liquid, and for
You're
most of the
right.
movie, the main actor doesn't talk.
no,
He just lets out these
like,
gurgly
zero.
screams. But even though he has like almost zero lines in this movie, he was such a good actor. Like he sold everything so
Oh, yeah.
well. Like it was great.
Oh yes,
I'm a big fan of his. I hope he does more stuff in the future, like over in the U.S. because
it was really
all
impressive.
of them really, like Lola and Brent both deserve to be bigger stars than they are
Oh, yes.
because Lola
She was
like put
creepy.
in the
Like,
she put in the performance of a lifetime in this
Oh, God.
movie. Like
yeah,
it's great.
she did a really good job. And you know, at first when you first see her by the lockers, she just looks like an innocent, beautiful girl. Like, if I'm this cat in this situation, yes, please, let's go to prom. You know. However, that being said, I was rooting for that other guy who asked that emo gothy type girl,
Yeah.
you know, metalhead girl, whatever you want to call her.
Timmy Valentine's sister.
Yes, which I didn't realize, and which you don't really realize until later
Yeah,
on in the movie.
Yeah.
Which I never put two and two together. So anytime I can get surprised in a movie is a good thing.
Yep. So like the side story of this movie is Brent's best friend going to prom with that goth girl, and you don't realize what it means until you realize the reason Brent got in a car accident was because he swerved Timmy Valentine. That was the girl's brother, and the dad, who is the cop, has been looking for his son and failed to find him
Yes.
after all these years or whatever, or the year or whatever it had been.
Yeah.
So like
Well,
the
it's 6
side story
months,
even makes
'cause-
sense within the main story. Like it's
Yeah.
a subplot, and it's a mostly humorous subplot, but it works to progress
at
the
first,
movie.
it was great.
You know?
Like, I totally get, like, I'll be honest, I haven't seen 16 Candles, and I know that that's what they kind of compared it to.
Yeah.
But 16 Candles is one of your, you know, I believe 80s, like, kind of
Yeah.
hits. You know, a lot like some of
John
those
Hughes
other.
film.
Yeah, yep. So in the whole movie, and you know, and I've seen a lot of those other '80s movies, so it definitely did have that feeling of you know, retro fun. And then you've seen the old cars too, helped for me. But then when they're standing outside before they go to prom, Dad walks out with a digital camera. I'm like, wait a minute, what time frame are we in? The '70s or the 2000s? And then I was like, well, it's probably because they're in Australia, and for some weird reason they must have no problems with their vehicles. Like, we have rust, we have heat problems on vehicles. Maybe Australia just has nothing, you know?
Yeah.
I really don't know. But but because of that, I was okay with it. Because if it was set in America and you're seeing a ton of like vintage cars and then modern, then I'd be like, something's not right here, and that instantly puts me on a tangent, you know, from okay, this is going good to this is good, but you know, but I had pretty much no problems with this movie, other than I can't even think. What's the main character's name?
Brent.
Brent. See, I never knew that the entire movie. Like,
Okay.
I don't think much of other than Timmy Valentine. I don't know if hardly any of these names stuck with me, other than Timmy Valentine. You know,
Right.
I just knew like, oh, that chick's effed up. You know, and like that's her creepy dad who helps. Like that's just mentally how I kept referring back to
Well,
these.
and then the mom, Bright Eyes, like, what happened? You're just sitting there the whole time when you see her, like, what's her story? Like,
See, and I thought
growing up with these
maybe
people, or
yeah, and the
you
only
know,
thing I was thinking at first was, okay, well, these people are like the dad and the daughter are already gross and sadistic,
yep,
and you see what they do to Brent at first, and then they roll in mom at dinner time, which I didn't know it was the mom at first. It honestly, it almost looked like a grandma character to me,
hmm
and you know, you don't really know the father's background, or at least I didn't know, like, what is, you know,
yeah,
where he works or anything like that. So, as far as I know, maybe he's some kind of screwed up serial killer scientist that has, you know, medicines and chemicals and this and that. And maybe he was trying to do some weird experiment on grandma, and now she's, you know, acts like she's had a lobotomy, you know.
well,
Like,
all the
that's the only
lobotomized
thing.
people in the cellar and stuff too. Like, that was an insane moment.
That was unexpected, and I'm just, I don't understand why she thought, you know, leaving him down there was a good idea without killing him. You know,
Well, 'cause I don't,
especially
I
after all the stuff he got. And the other thing I'm also surprised, why did they never try to clean it out? Like, eventually, you're going to have so many people in there that, you know, the bones are just going to build up and up and up and up, and then what? You know? Um,
mhm.
and I can only imagine how that house smelled
Oh no
just
shit.
because of that. Ugh. Um,
But what I like about this movie a lot is even before the torture happens,
mhm,
you are on Brent's side because I mean he is kind of the reason his dad died in a bad way,
right.
you know, and he's has suicidal thoughts. I mean, obviously he has the razor, so you see the cuts on his side and stuff. So he does self harm. Trigger
Yeah.
warning, obviously, to anyone watching.
Yeah.
But he does self harm, but then there's that moment when he's climbing up that cliff wall, and he's thinking about letting go, but he slips, and then he
Yes.
grabs on. It's like this guy doesn't want to die; he
Yes.
wants to live. And then when you see him go through all this, you're just pulling through more because he's fighting. It's like he was in such a bad place before all the torture,
Right.
but he's fighting for his life, and like drastically, like, I want out of this predicament. I want to live. I need to live. Like,
Right.
it's his fight or flight kicked in, and it finally got to him. Like, no, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I need to get my shit together and get out of this alive. So, like, before the torture happens, you're already on Brett's side or
Yes.
Brent's side, and you just want him to succeed in
Oh
something
yeah.
and be
Yeah.
okay.
Yep. You
So
know,
that was very
and
effective.
like personally for me, like someone who struggled with similar problems that Brent has, obviously in the beginning of the movie, having that, you know, instantly makes me a homer for him and root for him no matter what,
hmm
and want to see him succeed and accomplish. You know, to me, any type of like almost like a Cinderella story, something along the lines of that, the underdog, like I'm all about that.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
and in all honesty, you're going to hear a lot more about how much of a homer I am or a major mark I am when we do some of our other live streams. But yeah, it's just that alone, and you know when he's climbing up there, um, you know, it's like he was just, you know, in so much pain and just enjoy, like it's like he was just there trying to enjoy life one last time, and
Right.
then he got lost in the moment and slipped, and then he's like, no I don't, you know, and he like manages to climb back up, and you know he meets his dog up there, and you know
Has a
if you've
peaceful
ever.
moment with his doggo,
Yep, and
wholesome.
if you've ever had a wholesome moment with an animal, you can relate to that so hard.
Exactly.
That's why I have not seen John Wick all the way through. I'm sorry. Surprise!
I've
Haven't
never
seen
seen
John
those
Wick.
movies either.
Oh no.
I haven't
but,
either, so.
Spoiler alert: there's a disappointing dog scene. Um,
I feel like
but the
most people have seen John Wick
I mean,
besides me and
it's
you.
been out. If it's been out for over 5 years, then we can spoil it.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I don't know. I don't even know when it came out. It's probably been 5 years. I mean, they have like 3 movies.
Yeah, it's probably been had to have been close to 5 years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, so that scene where they open up the gates and he's just sitting there and you don't know what's in there yet. I'm thinking like, do they have some kind of weird monster alive in there? And at first it looks like just a bunch of weird little demons, but it's actually humans.
Yeah, people they've previously abducted and lobotomized and stuff. Like,
yes.
And that lobotomy scene with Brent, oh my god.
Oh,
Without showing much either, it was super effective.
The heat, steam coming off.
Yeah, you saw the smoke coming off his head.
I didn't need to physically see, the penetration, if you will. That smoke alone is all I needed to see to be grossed out.
Tom Savini, a special effects legend, once said, "The less you see, the more grotesque it is, and the more impactful it is." And sometimes that's very true, especially in this case. Just seeing that little bit of smoke coming off because you're looking at Brent from the back of the head, and they're drilling into his forehead, and then you see the smoke coming out. It's like, holy shit! And then your mind just goes off in a place like, what's happening?
Right.
And it brings you to such a darker place than what they could possibly show you.
And it's true what they say, the brain is a beautiful thing, and I can imagine, literally just seeing the smoke. It's like I can't see it physically, but I could probably imagine what a hot twirling thing on my head might feel, just the heat alone.
Yeah.
You could definitely envision feeling that, and then just thinking of any level of pain, and then right in your moneymaker, your face, your head, it just and then she said, "But Daddy, the hole is too small."
When they're trying to boil his brain.
Make it be, oh man, and then and then it's like I could just imagine, I already imagined kind of this pressure, but now a hole, and we've all had something get in a cut on your finger and it stings and it hurts, but thinking of somewhere along the lines of that type of pain, but right on my forehead, no thanks. Nope. Hard pass. And then dumping the boiling water, it's like they could have used acid, they could have used anything, gasoline, anything. The thing that I liked about choosing the water is everyone can relate to, oh nope, that water's too hot, or that type of pain. So then already having that mentally, and then there's been times when you're drinking coffee and maybe it splashes and gets you and it hurts, but just that
imagine
going there
going into your brain,
and then seeing it get dumped on his face. Ooh, no thanks.
And I think the only reason the lobotomy didn't really get to him as much as the others was because when they are about to pour the water, he kicks out Lola and he breaks out again for the second time. And so he kind of gets a little bit of semblance of what's going on still. So he's still able to function. But if that water would have been dumped in, that would have been game over.
Game over, man. You're done. And I still, for the life of me, can't understand how this kid didn't die from blood loss or anything like that. Pain alone, a cardiac arrest, or literally anything. The fact that he had 2 kitchen knives hammered in his feet, literally a fork that designed a heart with some letters inside of it on his chest. The drilling in the forehead, you know, what else do they need to do for this guy to, you know, pass, you know? And the fact that he just ripped it out and then he went for a run, you know, and ran out of that place and had enough strength to do this stuff. I mean, I would, you know, I don't know what it's like to lose a lot of blood, but I'm pretty certain that if you lose the amount this guy lost, you'd be pretty dang weak.
Yeah.
And sleepy, and, you know, and the fact that he out of nowhere did this, you know, maybe it was a lot of adrenaline, but
Yeah, that's all I can think of is just the fight or flight mode. You know, you hear about those like stories about like moms lifting up cars when their babies are trapped there.
Oh yeah,
you know, like stuff like that. It's like holy, you know, that's probably what it was. Just a red adrenaline. Like if I don't do this now, I'm dead, and I can't have that. So like, he just kicked into a different mode and kicked ass. And the finale, when you see Holly, Brent's girlfriend, running down the road and Lola's behind her, and Brent speeding down the opposite way, coming this way,
he's gonna hit Holly.
You think he's gonna nail Holly? It's like, no,
that's what I thought.
Slow down.
I was like, oh great, but he doesn't.
But then he swerves,
and then he slams her, and I jump, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, yes, and then she gets up, and I'm like,
she's crawling, her legs all crazy, and she has the knife.
Like, really? Yeah, and she keeps going. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You know, I hate this girl enough. She can get, you know, in a really cool wake or, you know, whatever. And then you just see him go in reverse. And I was like, come on, please show it. Please show it. And just because I'm sadistic. And I, you know, when I hate a character, and I want the biggest miserable, you know, outcome. And just that split second of that quick little back head snap, and then the scene changes, and it goes to later on driving down the road. Things are peaceful, music is settling, but for me, why the hell is he still driving?
Right, like,
get out of the car, let the girl drive you. I mean, I don't even think this cat had his license, and she at least had just gotten hers. So, I thought that, you know, whatever. But,
okay,
you know,
so, like, we're getting towards, we pretty much talked about the whole movie at this point.
Yeah,
so, like we did on the last two Tyler's First Time videos, what was the scene of the movie, and what would you rate it out of 5 stars?
So I think if there was a scene of the movie, for me, the biggest takeaway for me is when he finally gets out of whatever you would call that trapdoor area, and escapes. And I think when's the part where is that when he gets out and he just like starts railing her in the face, punching her over and over and over, and it's like lights out?
That's before he falls into the pit.
Oh, that was before. Oh, okay, yes, because because he had stabbed the dad in the neck, and then did that to her, and then
she got him with something and then lifted his legs up and just kind of tossed him in.
And tossed him in.
And then
she did like a leg sweep
up. Beat the shit out of all those lobotomized people and stacked their bodies up. It's like, oh my god, can you imagine like the trauma he probably went through after all that? Like,
and no, I think so. There's a lot of good scenes. To be honest with you, there's so many tons of good scenes.
Even with the best friend, like those scenes were funny.
They were great. Headbanging in the car with hot ass Ramona Flowers. Yes, sir. You know, like that's my goal in life is to, you know, be just a scrub of a guy, but have a cool car and, you know, capture Ramona. So I'm rooting for him too, just as much as I am Brent.
The subplot was a nice break from like
It was
really
nice.
bleak, dark stuff, and then going to like lighthearted. This is funny, but
Yeah.
it's tragic for her. But you know, like he's a likable character, so
Yes.
it was a nice break. I know. I looked up some reviews after I watched it on YouTube, and some people didn't like the side plot. They thought it took away from the movie. I thought it added a lot to the movie.
I thought it added a lot to the movie because it's almost like you get two movies in one.
Yeah.
And
they're likable characters.
And they're a likable character. I mean, you get, you know, enough dialogue of them and their background that they are not just, you know, just a B, you know, side character or, you know, and, you know, what you don't know about this girl is that she's a big focal point of part of the story that's going on. And so they're able to tie it up together at the end, and it's awesome. I think for me, so in a weird way, this movie reminded me a lot of when I saw The Hills Have Eyes 2, because I think I've mentioned that to you, and how I loved the fight scene where the guy at the end of that movie gets out of weird radiated land town with all these mutants and gets away. That's that's probably the highlight of that movie to me, to the way that for this movie, I think it's around the time when the cop breaks through the door, opens up the thing, you see him in there, and the girl knocks, hits him, axe in the head, he falls in, and then he gets the gun, bang, 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 and then she gets, like, angry or something, and then doesn't she throw more crap in at him?
Yeah,
and closes the doors on him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She chucks like a flashlight and a bucket down the east for water and some other stuff.
Yeah, which I don't understand why she did this, but she's a teenage
she's unhinged
girl, unhinged teenage
died,
girl.
So.
Yeah. Especially the one that she apparently loves.
Was in love with, yeah.
Was in love with. So, but for me, it's just this the end scene where Brent kills the dad. Brent gets trapped. You think it's game over, but then he crawls out of it and escapes. And for me,
it's
the
that
second
sense of watching relief. It's like,
yes,
oh, thank God he's out.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's honestly exactly it. Because the minute you see him get out of the house, that's when I can go, okay, he's gonna probably make it through this. Yeah. That whole portion, that little chunk there, is my that's what in my head what I'm gonna remember about this movie, along with PP Nail Hammer Time, that and the drill scene. I mean,
see, the drill scene is what I always come back to. It's like I just remember the drill scene, like,
and
it's on the cover her with the drill, so I mean that's what sticks in my head the most.
Immediately when I saw that drill scene, I don't know what movie it was I saw, but the guy had a drill and he was gonna drill it into the head of somebody, but I think it was Iron Man. Like it was that terrible movie. I think it was like Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin. I don't know if that's the name. I don't know if you've seen that.
I didn't watch any of the Iron Man movies, so
okay. Well, it brought me back to whatever scene I'm thinking of and how horrific seeing that was. And unfortunately in this scene they weren't doing a lobotomy, they just went straight in. But just like that movie, you didn't actually see it until after, there's that full penetration and you just see the back of the guy's head, just like, similar to Brent. And then you hear there's drilling in his brains, and then you just see him fall over. It was an instant callback to that, but this is far worse because they're not killing him; they're torturing him. Yes. Like in that alone,
and for no reason. I mean, the way he turned her down, he was so nice about it. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm going to the dance with Holly," and then he said sorry again as he was walking away. He's like, "I'm sorry," and he kind of felt bad about it. Like I felt bad for saying no to her, but like I have a girlfriend and I'm going with her. So it's like he didn't deserve this at all. You know,
You know,
it's like,
and that
and then he
just-
had to go through it. It was terrible.
So another cringy part of this movie for me, and we didn't really touch base on it too much, is when she's flipping through her scrapbook. And she's like, oh, there's little Johnny, Johnny Walker Red. He peed his pants, and she's talking about what happened to these people as they tortured and killed them. Oh, he was a crybaby. He called for his mommy. I'm like, please don't show it. Please don't show it. Please don't show any of the pictures you took, and they did. And, the mind can think up so many things and so many mental images. And, there's a lot of things that I physically see in a day, but I don't remember it. It's not mental image in my head. Whereas if I have to sit there and imagine it, then boom, there's the image. It's there for a while. But yeah, in talking about this movie, and just sitting here talking it out with you, it's like I'm remembering more and more and more. And I'll be honest with you, before this call, I'm like trying to think, all right, what all happened in this movie? And it's like, I think I blocked part of this movie out because it was a little traumatizing to me.
Yeah.
And now it's just like
tough one to watch.
And now it's like I'm recalling everything and just how cringy and traumatic it was for me. So
what would you rate it out of 5 stars? Where does it sit for you?
I don't remember at all what I rated the others. What was this one on? Do you remember what was this on Rotten Tomatoes?
98%.
98.
Yes.
I think
it's a very well liked movie by the people who have seen it. It's not very much people have seen it, but it's held in high regard. I think on my Letterboxd I have it at a 4.5.
I would say 4.7. I'm thinking 4.7.
That's the second highest movie you've rated on here. You gave Nightmare on Elm Street 4.8.
Yeah, but I mean that's a classic.
Yeah.
all the toys.
The next
and
one we
stuff.
do will be a classic, I promise.
Okay.
I kind of want to switch it up a little bit between classics and hidden gems.
I love this hidden gem though, and you know how excited I am for some of these classics. Yeah. So however you want to present it to me, I trust you, and you are going to take me along on this horrifying roller coaster of horror.
Yeah.
No, it's actually a lot of fun. I'm actually, and just talking about it to people, they're actually getting interested in some of the stuff we're watching, and how is this movie? How is that movie? And then, it's a good time for me to bond with, some of the people in my family. So why not? Especially since I can't see you right now. But that'll happen again sooner than later.
Yes, we will be back.
And we'll be wearing the same clothing throughout the whole episode. Because I just kind of thought about this, like, should I wear what I wore the last time? But truthfully, I don't even remember what I wore the first time we shot this, because I think it's been a couple of days since then.
Yeah. We had to shoot this over a few days. We had scheduling issues.
Long story.
We worked it out.
But you know what? You just got yourselves another episode of My First Time.
Yes, and it was great. So that is it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Like, comment, and all that fun stuff.
Comment, share, favorite, thumbs up, hit that notification bell, and look for the Gorekeeper on Facebook. He will.
Yeah, go to the Gorekeeper page on Facebook. We got stuff there, so that's always fun.
You got stuff there. Some of the upcoming movies, Gorekeeper might do a poll for, and some of you fans can vote on what we should watch next.
Exactly. So you can follow me at YT Gorekeeper on Twitter. You can follow me on Letterboxd, just at Gorekeeper. I always follow back to people who will follow me on Letterboxd. You can follow Tyler on Letterboxd. I think you're just at, what's your hand on the horror movie reviews?
That's a great question. I don't know. It's been
something
a while,
very generic. I remember it's like horror movie reviews or something.
It's something super generic. Hold on. There it is. I didn't even have to re-download it. Horror review on Letterboxd.
Horror review. Follow Tyler at Horror Review. You can also follow him at TJ Money Dog on Twitter.
Yes,
Go like
sir.
the Mr. T's Comics and
and
Collectibles page
Collectibles
on Facebook.
And most importantly, my favorite, the Shooting Star Press.
Yes, if you're a wrestling fan, we have another channel, a sister channel
That's
called
right.
the Shooting Star Press. So look up, if you type in TSSP Wrestling, it should pop up, or the Shooting Star Press Wrestling or podcast something on YouTube. I'll put a link to it in the description below. You can check out this. So if you're a wrestling fan, we go live generally every week. Our schedule right now, because I'm up at the hospital, is a little weird right now, but usually we go live every Friday after SmackDown, and we talk AEW, Impact, sometimes New Japan. Sometimes I bring up NXT.
It's probably gonna be more. It's gonna be a lot more New Japan, probably. But
I
don't want to get off. I don't want to get off on a tangent because I can go on and on about wrestling. All right.
But yeah.
Well, thanks again, everyone.
For watching, guys.
Adios.
Adios.
Bye.